In today's video, we're going to be reviewing one by Roja Dove. It's called Elysium Eau Intense. I got a free sample of Elysium Eau Intense when I purchased the Oud sample set. It was just a free sample. I have been wearing it on my skin and testing it out and kind of seeing what I think. I did not like the original Elysium, not my taste, I don't like it. Elysium Eau Intense wasn't expecting a whole lot, but it's actually quite different from the original in my opinion, and a lot better. I actually genuinely quite enjoyed wearing this one. I'll read you the notes for this fragrance, which are grapefruit, lime and rhubarb, with violet leaf, tuberose, juniper berry, black pepper, dry woods and musk. And in an interview he did, I think it was with Twisted Lily, he describes that the musk used is a material called Helvetilide, which is a top note musk. I've got it myself. And so yeah, Helvetilide is the musk, or one of the musks used in this. For me, what I get is this bright, invigorating, fresh opening that's quite crisp, a little bit sharp. You definitely get the rhubarb, and it's tart and a little bit bitter, almost sour. And it's blended with these citruses and a little bit kind of spicy as well, spicy aromatic. I think the juniper comes through in the opening. There is a subtle spice in here. I think the juniper berry and the pepper add a little bit of spice, but it's not too much, but it definitely adds a little bit of character to the fragrance. In my notes I write that it's quite musky even from the start, which makes sense with using Helvetilide because it's a top note musk. So you might expect that you can smell the musk as a top note, which is exactly what happens. In my notes I mentioned that it almost has a sort of blue DNA in the sense that it's kind of an out of the shower kind of fresh style fragrance. Like the original one was, it was kind of a blue style, but this is just done better where it's more in my taste, or like I say, I didn't enjoy the original one. This one smells better to me personally. In terms of quality, I think if you were kind of compare, I would think it could easily pass in an Acqua di Parma bottle or an Atelier des Ors, those kinds of brands. It's not super high-end smelling, but doesn't smell like a designer. It smells generally kind of good quality. It's nice, it's pleasant, it's fresh. So I think the quality is fine. But you do get this obvious, like say, synthetic bubble of musk, with Helvetilide being, again, quite prominent, quite musky as the scent profile. I feel like this one has a mass appeal. It's easy to wear. It's a very good summer, spring fragrance, a good high heat fragrance, because it's got this kind of invigorating, kind of fresh, spicy, but clean kind of smell to it, which I think the majority of people tend to like. As it starts to dry down, there's something about it that kind of, I don't drink alcohol at all, but in my brain it would be something akin to like a gin and tonic cocktail. It's got this slight sparkle, this kind of, like I say, gin tonic kind of vibe. And that's kind of the impression that it gives me as it dries down, but it's actually quite nice. It smells very good. Maybe that's just juniper. I'm not sure I think juniper's part of gin. Like I say, I don't drink alcohol. I don't know much about alcohol that way. But I think juniper is part of the thing that makes up the profile of gin. So maybe that's what's contributing to this kind of gin tonic kind of vibe, possibly. I would say if you like things like Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel, these more classical kind of blue fragrances in the designer realm, you probably like this one, but this is like a step up in it smells better quality than those fragrances, but I think would still appeal to that kind of same kind of crowd. To be honest, this will be a lot easier for like mainstream people that don't have a particular niche taste to enjoy this one. What surprised me about this one is the note of lime, how long it lasts. You can smell the lime note for a surprisingly long amount of time in this fragrance. It doesn't just disappear as a top note, it lingers, and just you can pick it up quite a while later as it starts to dry down. So when it dries down, you're going to get this kind of gin and tonic vibe, like juniper berry and lime, and kind of musky, kind of watery, musky, out of the shower, clean, fresh kind of smell, but with lime and juniper and, yeah, like I say, gin and tonic-ish kind of vibe for me. In the dry down, for me, it just goes into what I would describe as a kind of a general woody musk kind of smell that smells in general, overall, a little bit more on the masculine leaning side. In terms of performance for this, I would say 3 hours, it's kind of a skin scent close to the body, but I can smell it 6-7 hours later as kind of overall longevity. The Drydown is a little bit more kind of synthetic. You get these kind of synthetic, kind of woody musk kind of feeling vibe to the fragrance in the far Drydown. But yeah, that's kind of what you're left with, is kind of woody musk kind of feeling. There's something in it that's just a little bit sharp. I don't know how to describe it other than it's just a little bit piercing or sharp. Maybe just particular material in there, but yeah, there is a sharpness to this one. I found the projection in sillage wasn't huge. I play badminton once a week on a Thursday evening, and there's about 15 or so people that go and play every week. And I sprayed the sample on, I think 2 times, just like half an hour before going to badminton, just from a 2 ml sample just around my neck. And nobody noticed it. I've kind of, to be honest, forgot that I was wearing it because I couldn't smell it either. So I think this one, it's not huge in projection and sillage, but I mean, I'm spraying it from a 2 ml sample, to be fair. I'm not drowning myself in it. If you have a bottle or you were planning to maybe buy a bottle, I would think personally, going from my experience with the sample, that you might want to over apply this one. And talking like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 sprays to give you proper, you know, lift and sillage. If you want it to project and see, you have a little bit of a trail behind you with some sillage, apply it to your t-shirt or clothing, and be a little bit more generous with this one, because it feels like it doesn't radiate that well, at least on my skin from the sample. That's kind of how I found it. I didn't get any feedback from anyone around me that could smell it. Usually I give Roja quite a hard time because I don't agree with their pricing. I think they overcharge by a long way for a lot of their fragrances, and I don't see the value in them personally. However, I have to give them props for this particular one because I actually think the value is fair. I can't knock them for the pricing. Although it sounds expensive, you've got to bear in mind the quantity that you're getting. It's £265 sterling for the bottle, but it is 100 ml. So if you can imagine it as a 50 ml at half the price, even though it doesn't come in a 50 ml, but the equivalent price at that per ml, it'd still be £132 for a 50 ml, which is cheaper than a Nasamato, for example. A Nasamato is £130 for 30 ml, 20 ml less. And so this is better value for money than a Nasamato. So in general, I really don't have a problem with the price. I think it's actually quite fair, and it's a decent price. It just sounds expensive because it's 100 ml, so you're buying a lot of juice. I'm just comparing the prices online as I do this right now. Tom Ford Mandarino di Amalfi, just as a comparison, as like a summertime fragrance with a, you know, nice citrus notes. 50 ml of that is £220. So that's, you know, it's expensive if you're going to buy it retail, that is. Yeah, I think the pricing is actually pretty good for the Roja. It's cheaper than Tom Ford's summer kind of collections. It's cheaper than Nasamato. The bottle's nice, so, you know, I don't mind it. I think it does genuinely smell good. I enjoyed wearing it. I thought it was fresh, invigorating. I would like that in the heat. The rhubarb note is actually quite nice. It's tart, it's a bit different, it's refreshing. Again, a little bit of a tart, bitter quality to it, but I think it's actually quite a nice nuance in the fragrance. In general, if you want kind of a summertime, crisp, sharp fragrance that I think would be quite mass appealing and easy to wear, then, you know, the price isn't out of the way. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you again. Take care, everyone. Be safe, and bye.
One time he disappeared for 2 or 3 days. When he came back, they asked him where he'd been, and he said, "Oh, just sailing."